Hi everyone, and welcome back. Grab some fika and let's talk about books. So I've been away for a bit, not just from YouTube. I I started this channel. I made 3 videos. Then my phone started acting up. I ordered a new one and it stayed in the box for like 3 weeks, and I don't know, it annoyed the heck out of my friends. Also, I've been super busy with work. We're putting up a kids show this Easter, and so we've been rehearsing that, and so it's just been crazy busy. And that was my biggest concern starting this channel, that I wouldn't have the time, but at least I have something to record with now, so that's good. So we have a bunch of different things that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to do a bit of a haul. We're going to talk about the books that I've read so far. I've actually been in quite of a reading slump from the start of the year. So it's not that many, but we're going to go through them, talk a little bit about what I'm reading at the moment. So yeah, come along for the ride. So let's start with a haul. There was a huge sale in February, so I bought a few. Starting with this one in Swedish, it's called Barnsköterskan, and it's by Stacy Halls. In English, it's Mrs. England, and it just seems like one of those everything is not what it looks like kind of books. I'm hoping this is going to be like an easy in-between read. Yeah. Next one is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, and it's by Mark Haddon, and I've actually finished this book. We're going to talk a little bit more about that soon. Next is Tidsmaskinen, or The Time Machine, by H.G Wells, and also finished. Going to talk about that a little bit more soon as well. The next one is a Swedish one entirely. It's called Jag, or Me, and it's by Ulrika Ewerman. It's a book about Karin Larsson. She was married to a famous Swedish artist called Carl Larsson, and as many women of her time, she was living in his shadow. She was an artist herself, but he's taken credit for some things that she's done, and he's done, his own work as well. But that's how I've learned, at least. So it's gonna be, it's not a biography or anything like that. It's a fictional story, but it's about her life before and when she meets her husband. Next one I've also finished. It's Swedish poetry collection by Hansson called Kan vi inte vara snälla nu, för sen dör vi faktiskt. Can't we be nice now, because then we'll die, actually. And this I'm going to talk a little bit more about as well, but as poetry collections go, I really love this. Next up is Mouse. So as I'm editing this, I'm realizing I might not be allowed to show that. It might affect the video in some ways. So yeah, just here's a picture of the book with the symbol blurred out. And this one has been on my want to read list for a long time. It's by Spiegelman, and it's about the Holocaust, and like the inherent trauma of the survivors. So Art is trying to get his father to tell him about his experience during the war and trying to understand their relationship better through this. And yeah, it's a graphic novel, and I just really, in 2 parts, really looking forward to reading it. Last up, we have a Grady Hendrix, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. And I've been wanting to read Grady Hendrix for a while now. And this just happened to be on sale, so that's why I picked this one to start with. So this is about girls becoming pregnant out of wedlock, and yeah, they come to this house and they're gonna have their babies there in secret, and then the babies are going to get adopted, and then the witchcraft comes into play, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting seeing how I like his writing style. Sorry for the little confused way of trying to tell you what it's about. So, next up, the books that I've finished. So, we have 10,000 Stitches. This is the first book that I've finished this year. It's part of a series, but it's standalone books, but Regency fairy sort of tales. And yeah, it's a Regency love story with fairies. It was okay. I felt that it tried too hard, and I don't know, it was trying too hard not to be predictable while still being very predictable. And I mean, romances I think are usually quite predictable because you can feel like, oh, these two are supposed to end up together. But in this case, I felt that they were trying a little bit too hard to go around that in a way that I don't know how to describe it, because I mean, you like when it's a little bit of how are they going to, but it was just something about it. I read the first one as well, Half a Soul, and thought that was okay as well, better than this one, if I remember correctly, and well, but they're still nice reads, and it's by Olivia Atwater. And yeah, but I don't think that I will continue with this series. No. So next one is one of my Stephen King books, the first one for this year. Next up is going to be Cujo. And but this is in the Bachman collections. So he wrote under the pseudonym Richard Bachman, and it's called Roadwork. And it just was something about this one that I didn't enjoy as much as the other Stephen King reads. I'm reading them in chronological order of publication, and this was the first one where I felt a little bit gave it a 3-star, and I don't know, something about the character that didn't really resonate with me, and I've really liked Stephen King's characters in the past, so yeah, first, I wouldn't say disappointment, because it's still Stephen King, it's still well written, but yeah, first time I didn't feel that excitement after I finished the book. And then we have Treasure Island. This was one of the books I wanted to read at the start of the year, and I talked about it then. I read Moby Dick a couple of years ago because I wanted like an adventure book, and got super disappointed because I thought it was not what I had expected it to be. So I was afraid that I would feel the same, because I've always felt that Treasure Island is going to be that adventure as well. But I was not disappointed. This was such an adventure. I gave it 4 stars. And I mean, also the fictional pirate in this one, Long John Silver, I mean, that character has gotten a life of his own away from the pages. He is just so exciting, such a multifaceted character. Very, very interesting read. So next up was a book that I read for like a tiny little book club that me and my friend just started, and it's called Sonjas Sista Vilja by Åsa Hellberg. So it's Sonja's last will, and Sonja, she dies. That's not a spoiler, it's just the catalyst for the book. So that happens straight away, it's on the back, and it's about how her friends cope with her death and what Sonja's last will and testament is. It's a little bit of surprise for her friends. I liked some aspects of this book, and I had a good feel about Sonja, but she died, so she wasn't really in it. But overall, I didn't like this book. It was something about the characters and the dialogue that didn't really feel real to me. I rolled my eyes a lot at this book. But I had finished it for the book club, so we're gonna discuss that soon, and it's gonna be so much fun. So now let's go back to the books from the haul that I've already finished. So the first one was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. And this was my first and only 5-star read for this year, as of now. And I just love this book, and I've seen it as a play before, and I love them both equally in both mediums, and it's written from the perspective of a 15-year-old autistic boy. It's about family and trust and love, and it's just so beautifully done and warm and heartbreaking and everything that you want in a book. And if you have the chance to see it as play as well, I highly recommend that you do it. It was such a cool thing. They had like to try and help us understand what's going on in his brain and how his brain works. They made up this like box of different squares and lines and things where they could like project his thought patterns and stuff like that. It's so hard to describe, but so cool. And it was just beautiful as well. So highly recommend. Next was The Time Machine, and this is a classic, and I gave it 3 stars. It was not that, I didn't get that sucked into it, but it was fun and interesting to read something that's had a big impact on its genre. It's a dystopian sci-fi and kind of popularized traveling in time in like a machine or a vehicle with the purpose of actually, traveling back or forth in time. Next one was this one, The Poetry Collection by Bob Hansson. And I don't know, I've had a hard time reviewing or rating poetry collections in the past, because usually I've read like big collections of someone's life work or something like that, but this was a different experience for me, because it was like you could feel the theme of the collection, but the poems still stood out, like holding their own, if you know what I mean. And so I really love this, and I'm sure I'm gonna go back and pick this up again, and maybe just sometimes read different poems that I really liked. And yeah, so I'm excited to read more poetry now. Yeah, that was it for books I've read so far this year. And now we're gonna just talk a little bit about what I'm reading at the moment. Let's see. So I'm reading this one, 1794 by Niklas, Natt. It's a Swedish author doing historical fiction taking place in Stockholm in 1794. And I've read this is the second one. I've read the first one already. It's kind of like a thriller, mystery, crime sort of thing, combined with historical fiction. And I really enjoyed the first one. It had some moments where these books can be quite disgusting in a way. Just you feel really glad that you're not living in 1794, and both as a woman and just how disgusting everything seems to be. And yeah, this is a standalone. It's not like you follow up on some things from the first book, but it's like a new crime, new thing that they're going to sort out. And this takes a little bit of a journey as well through slavery and Sweden's connection to slavery, and that I thought was very interesting as well. And we follow some of the characters from the first book, and I'm like halfway through now, and it's told from different point of views, so I'm just going to start from a new point of view now. Next one is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, and I've just started this. I'm a couple of pages in, haven't really formed an opinion or except that I usually want to have a feel for where it's going, or like you can feel it moving forward, and I usually get a little bit I want to know, when the book doesn't have that feel, and this one's a little bit like that. You're not really sure where you're going with all of this, where they're going, but so far I'm okay with it. So far it's keeping my interest, and it's gonna be fun to see where it actually ends up. So that was it for today, and a lot of different books we managed to talk about, and hopefully, I'm just looking at all of them now, spread out on my floor. So let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. I'm excited to know. And have a great day.